The shield that binds. Dr. Alina Blackwood stood at the observation deck of the Quantum Defense Initiative's headquarters, her eyes fixed on the shimmer of energy that encased Earth like a soap bubble. The planetary shield, her life's work, had been active for exactly 7 days, and not a moment too soon. The alien signals grew stronger with each passing hour. "Doctor, we're picking up movement at the edge of the Kuiper Belt," announced Commander James Rhodes, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of holographic displays. "Multiple objects, moving faster than any natural phenomenon we've ever recorded." Alina's fingers danced across the neural interface embedded in her temple, pulling up real-time data from the shield's quantum grid. The defense system was operating at optimal efficiency, drawing power from the network of zero-point energy collectors stationed across Earth's strategic points. It had taken 15 years of international cooperation, countless sacrifices, and more than a few impossible breakthroughs to create this protection. "Status report from all shield nodes," she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of humanity's survival resting on her shoulders. Dr. Rajesh Patel, her longtime colleague and head of shield maintenance, spoke up from his station. "All 108 nodes are green, Alina. Power distribution is stable, and the quantum entanglement matrix is holding strong. Whatever's coming, we're as ready as we'll ever be." The first clear images of the approaching vessels appeared on the main display. They were massive, each ship larger than any human construction in history. Their design defied conventional physics, with geometries that seemed to fold in on themselves in impossible ways. The lead vessel alone was the size of Manhattan, its surface covered in what appeared to be living metal that rippled like mercury. "Message incoming," announced Lieutenant Diana Winters, her cybernetic eyes rapidly processing the alien transmission. "It's broadcasting on all frequencies in over 1,000 different languages. They're calling themselves the hegemony of allied stars." Alina felt a chill run down her spine as the message began to play through the command center's speakers. The voice was artificially smooth, almost musical, but carried an undertone of absolute authority that made her skin crawl. "People of Earth, your isolation ends today. The hegemony welcomes you into our eternal embrace. Lower your defensive barriers and prepare for integration. Resistance is not only futile but unnecessary. We bring order, we bring peace, we bring unity." Admiral Marcus Chen, the highest-ranking military officer present, stepped forward. "They always say peace when they mean surrender. Dr. Blackwood, what are we dealing with here?" Alina's analysis of the alien ships revealed technology far beyond human understanding, but she also noticed something familiar in their energy signatures. Their power output is astronomical, but there's a pattern to it. They're using a form of quantum manipulation similar to our shield technology, just vastly more advanced. The first ship entered the solar system proper, its massive form displacing the very fabric of space around it. Behind it, hundreds more began to appear, like stars blinking into existence. "They're positioning themselves in a standard siege formation," Commander Rhodes observed grimly. "Classic encirclement tactics, just on a solar system scale." Alina's mind raced through calculations and possibilities. The shield was humanity's greatest achievement, but it had never been tested against anything like this. They had built it based on theoretical physics and desperate hope, powered by the combined will of a species that refused to bow to any would-be conqueror. "Admiral," she said, her voice firm with resolve, "I recommend we send our response now before they get any closer." Admiral Chen nodded, and Alina composed humanity's first official interstellar message. It was short, clear, and would set the tone for everything that followed. "Attention hegemony vessels. Earth is and will remain a sovereign world. Your presence is neither requested nor welcome. Any attempt to breach our defensive perimeter will be met with immediate and proportional response. This is your only warning." The message was sent, traveling across the void at speeds that would have seemed impossible just decades ago. For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then, without warning, the lead hegemony vessel fired a beam of pure energy at Earth, enough power to shatter a small moon. The shield caught it. Not only caught it, but absorbed it, the quantum grid transforming the hostile energy into additional power. Elena allowed herself a small smile as the shield's efficiency readings actually improved. "Well," Admiral Chen said, breaking the stunned silence that followed, "I believe that counts as their response. Dr. Blackwood, it seems your shield works even better than advertised." "This is just the beginning," Elena replied, watching as the hegemony fleet began to adjust its formation. "They won't give up easily, but neither will we." Around the world, humans gathered around screens and holoprojectors, watching as humanity made its stand. For the first time in history, Earth wasn't just another primitive world waiting to be conquered. It was a fortress, defended by technology born of human ingenuity and determination. The hegemony would soon learn what so many others throughout history had discovered. Sometimes the most dangerous thing in the universe is a species that refuses to kneel. Breaking point. 3 weeks into the siege, and the hegemony's frustration became increasingly evident. Their massive fleet had arranged itself in a complex geometric pattern around Earth's orbit, creating what their transmissions called a unity matrix. Each failed attempt to penetrate the shield only seemed to strengthen humanity's resolve. Dr. Elena Blackwood hadn't left the Quantum Defense Initiative's command center in days. She watched through bloodshot eyes as another wave of exotic energy weapons splashed harmlessly against Earth's protective barrier. The shield actually hummed now, its quantum matrix having adapted to the constant attacks. "They're changing tactics," Commander Rhodes announced, pointing to a new formation emerging among the alien vessels. "Look at how they're clustering their smaller ships." Lieutenant Winter's cybernetic eyes whirred as she processed the incoming data. Energy signatures are different this time. They're synchronizing their weapon systems. Before anyone could respond, a new transmission cut through all communication channels. The voice was different from previous hegemony messages, deeper, older, carrying an edge of genuine emotion rather than artificial smoothness. "I am High Admiral Vorthak of the Hegemony First Fleet. I address the being known as Elena Blackwood directly." The alien's face appeared on the main screen, crystalline features set in what might have been flesh or possibly living metal. "Your defiance has impressed us, but it cannot continue. The hegemony does not tolerate anomalies." Elena stepped forward, nodding to Lieutenant Winters to open a return channel. "This is Dr. Blackwood. I'm listening." "Your shield technology. It should not be possible at your species' development level. Share its secrets with us, and we will grant Earth privileged status within the hegemony. Resist, and we will be forced to take more decisive action." Admiral Chen moved to speak, but Elena raised a hand. She had been expecting this. "High Admiral Vorthak, you seem to operate under a misconception. We didn't create this shield to negotiate. We created it to be left alone." The alien's crystalline features shifted in what might have been surprise. "You don't understand. The hegemony has brought order to 1,000 galaxies. We have ended wars that raged for millions of years. We have uplifted countless species. Your isolation serves no purpose." "That's where you're wrong," Elena replied. "Our isolation serves the most important purpose of all. It preserves our right to choose our own path." The transmission cut off abruptly. Moments later, the hegemony fleet began to move. "Multiple energy spikes," Dr. Patel called out. "They're charging something massive." The smaller hegemony ships had arranged themselves in a perfect sphere around one of their larger vessels. Energy began to flow between them, creating a web of light that seemed to tear at the fabric of space itself. "It's some kind of quantum cascade," Elena muttered, her neural interface struggling to process the readings. "They're trying to create a resonance pattern that could disrupt our shield's frequency." Admiral Chen's voice was tense. "Can they succeed?" Elena's fingers flew over her console, making rapid adjustments to the shield's quantum matrix. "Not if I can help it. Rajesh, route additional power to the Southern Hemisphere nodes. Lieutenant Winters, I need real-time feedback on any fluctuations in the shield's integrity." The hegemony weapon fired a beam of pure quantum energy that twisted and writhed like a living thing. When it struck Earth's shield, the impact was felt across the planet. Buildings shook. The sky itself seemed to ripple. For one terrible moment, the shield flickered. Elena felt sweat running down her face as she fought to stabilize the quantum matrix. Numbers and equations flashed through her mind as she made thousands of microscopic adjustments. Then she saw it, a pattern in the hegemony's attack, a weakness she could exploit. Rajesh, inverse the power flow through nodes 17 through 42. Now. The shield didn't just deflect the hegemony's weapon, it caught it, twisted it, and sent it spiraling back into space. 3 of the smaller alien ships were destroyed instantly. The others scattered, their perfect formation shattered. In the stunned silence that followed, Admiral Chen let out a low whistle. Well, that's something you don't see every day. But Elena wasn't celebrating. Her eyes were fixed on the readings from the shield nodes. They'll try again, and next time they'll be better prepared. We need to understand what they just tried to do. Already on it, Dr. Patel said, his hands moving rapidly over his console. The data we just collected. Elena, you need to see this. Their weapon wasn't just trying to break through the shield. It was trying to rewrite its fundamental properties if they had succeeded. They would have turned our own defense system against us, Elena finished. Classic hegemony tactics, I'd guess. Don't destroy what you can subvert. Commander Rhodes stepped forward, his expression grim. So what's our next move? Elena's mind was already racing ahead, seeing patterns and possibilities. We adapt. We evolve. The shield was designed to learn to grow stronger with each attack. But we need to do more than just defend. We need to show the hegemony and any other watching civilizations that humanity isn't just capable of saying no. We're capable of changing the rules of the game entirely. As if in response to her words, new data began streaming in from the outer system sensors. The hegemony fleet was regrouping, but something else was happening too. Other ships were appearing, smaller, faster vessels of unknown design. Lieutenant Winter's cybernetic eyes widened. Doctor, we're receiving transmissions from multiple sources. They're asking permission to approach Earth. It seems our little light show has attracted some attention. Elena smiled for the first time in days. Perhaps isolation wasn't humanity's only option after all. Admiral Chen, I believe it's time we showed the galaxy that there's more than one way to join the cosmic community. The hegemony had wanted to force Earth's evolution. Instead, they had become the catalyst for something far more interesting, humanity's first steps toward becoming a true interstellar civilization, on its own terms. Echoes of resistance. The Quantum Defense Initiative's command center had transformed over the past week. New holographic displays showed the positions of not just the hegemony fleet, but also the growing number of alien vessels gathering at the edges of the solar system. Dr. Elena Blackwood studied the tactical map with a mixture of hope and apprehension. The Meridian Collective's representatives are ready for their approach, Lieutenant Winters announced, her cybernetic eyes processing the incoming transmissions. Their credentials match the protocols we established. Admiral Chen nodded. Open a corridor in the shield, minimum width, maximum security protocols. The alien ship that emerged from the darkness was unlike anything humanity had seen before. Where hegemony vessels were geometric and imposing, this craft seemed to flow like liquid starlight. It carried representatives from 3 different civilizations that had broken away from the hegemony decades ago. Fascinating design, Dr. Patel muttered, analyzing the readings. Their hull appears to be a form of biological metamaterial, similar principles to our quantum shield but applied at the molecular level. The diplomatic meeting was set to take place in humanity's first orbital quantum conference chamber, a space where representatives could interact through secure holographic projections, while their physical bodies remained safely in their respective vessels. Elena stood beside Admiral Chen as the alien delegates materialized in the chamber. Ambassador Lyra of the Meridian Collective was a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix. Delegate Zorntek appeared as a shifting cloud of iridescent particles, while Representative Ixil retained a more conventional humanoid form, though their skin seemed to reflect colors that human eyes had never seen before. We have watched your defiance with great interest, Ambassador Lyra began, their voice resonating directly in the minds of all present. The hegemony's power has gone unchallenged for too long, but your shield, it represents more than just a barrier. It represents possibility. High Admiral Vorthak's response was immediate. A massive hegemony dreadnought broke formation, positioning itself between Earth and the diplomatic vessels. This meeting is a violation of hegemony protocol. His voice boomed across all frequencies. These separatists seek only to destabilize the natural order. Elena stepped forward, her voice clear and unwavering. The natural order, High Admiral, or your order? Because from where we stand, the universe seems far too vast and wonderful for any single civilization to claim authority over all others. Commander Rhodes suddenly cut in through the secure channel. Multiple energy signatures detected. The hegemony fleet is charging weapons. But Ambassador Lyra remained calm. They will not fire, not now, look. On the tactical displays, hundreds of new signals were appearing. Ships of all sizes and designs, emerging from what Dr. Patel would later identify as quantum slip points, a form of FTL travel that the hegemony had supposedly restricted to their own use. You are not alone in your desire for independence, Delegate Zorntek's particle cloud pulsed with each word. Many of us have waited centuries for a moment like this, a chance to show that resistance is not only possible but necessary for the growth of all civilizations. Representative Ixil moved forward, their multichromatic skin rippling. We propose an alliance, not one of dominance like the hegemony, but one of mutual respect and shared knowledge. Your shield technology, combined with our understanding of quantum slip points and metamaterials, could change the balance of power in this galaxy. Elena exchanged glances with Admiral Chen. This was more than just an opportunity for Earth's survival. It was a chance to help reshape the galactic order. But the risks were enormous. The hegemony will not accept this. High Admiral Vorthak's voice had lost its artificial smoothness, revealing genuine anger. You risk plunging the galaxy into chaos. Perhaps, Elena replied, or perhaps we're offering something better than your enforced peace. A chance for genuine cooperation between equals. The decision wasn't just Elena's to make. Around the world, the leaders of Earth's nations were watching, listening, voting. The quantum shield had required global unity to build and maintain. This next step would demand even more. Admiral Chen received the final tally through his neural link and nodded to Elena. She took a deep breath, knowing her next words would echo across human history. The people of Earth accept your proposal for alliance, with conditions. We will share our shield technology, but it must remain defensive in nature. We will learn about quantum slip points, but this knowledge must be freely available to any civilization that chooses independence. And most importantly, we will work together not to destroy the hegemony, but to show them a better way forward. Ambassador Lyra's energy form brightened. Wisdom from such a young species. The hegemony believed isolation would weaken you. Instead, it has helped you see what many of us forgot, that true strength comes not from dominance but from choice. As the diplomatic protocols were established, Elena noticed something remarkable on her neural interface. The quantum shield wasn't just maintaining its integrity, it was evolving. The combined energy signatures of Earth's new allies were somehow resonating with the shield's matrix, creating patterns that shouldn't have been possible. Dr. Patel saw it too. Elena, these readings? I think we've barely scratched the surface of what the shield can do. With these new perspectives, these different approaches to quantum manipulation. We might be able to do more than just defend Earth, Elena finished. We might be able to help defend freedom across the galaxy. The hegemony fleet remained in position, their weapons charged but silent. They were watching, waiting, perhaps beginning to understand that the universe they had sought to order was about to change forever. And humanity, the species they had dismissed as isolated and primitive, would help lead that change, the quantum gambit. The hegemony's response to Earth's new alliance came swiftly and without warning, not through direct military action, but through something far more insidious. As Dr. Elena Blackwood stared at the readings on her neural interface, she felt her blood run cold. They're targeting our quantum field resonance, she announced to the gathered leaders in the command center. All of it, not just the shield. Dr. Patel's hands flew over his console, confirming her worst fears. It's affecting everything we've built using quantum technology. The shield is holding, but our communication networks, power distribution systems. They're trying to isolate us from our new allies, Admiral Chen concluded grimly. Cut us off before we can fully integrate our technologies. The hegemony's massive fleet had rearranged itself into a new configuration, a hyperdimensional lattice that seemed to fold space itself around Earth's solar system. High Admiral Vorthak's message played across all remaining functional channels. Witness the price of defiance. Your shield may protect your world, but we control the space around it. No ships will enter. No signals will pass. You chose isolation, now we will ensure it is absolute. Lieutenant Winter's cybernetic eyes flickered as she fought to maintain contact with their allies. The Meridian Collective's ships are being forced back. The quantum slip points are becoming unstable. Whatever the hegemony's doing, it's affecting the fundamental structure of spacetime in our region. Elena felt the weight of countless lives pressing down on her shoulders. Earth had inspired others to stand against the hegemony, and now those allies were in danger. She couldn't let it end like this. There might be a way, she said, her mind racing through calculations. The shield, it's not just a barrier, the quantum matrix we created. It's more fundamental than we realized. Rajesh, remember those pattern anomalies we detected when our allies' ships resonated with the shield? Dr. Patel nodded slowly, beginning to understand. You think we could use the shield to counter their spacetime manipulation? Elena, the power requirements would be astronomical. We'd have to redline every quantum reactor on the planet. Not just the reactors, Elena replied. We'd need everyone. The shield draws power from Earth itself, from the quantum potential of every particle of matter within its sphere of influence. If we could get the entire population to synchronize their thoughts, their intentions. Mass quantum entanglement? Commander Rhodes looked skeptical. That's theoretical at best. Theory is all we have right now, Elena said. She turned to Admiral Chen. Sir, I need authorization to access the global neural network, all of it. The Admiral's face was grave. You're talking about linking every human mind on Earth through the quantum field. The risks are less than the risk of letting the hegemony win, Elena finished. They're not just trying to stop us, they're trying to stop the idea of us, what we represent, hope for something better than their enforced unity. After a moment of heavy silence, Admiral Chen nodded. Do it. The next hour was a blur of activity. Dr. Patel and his team worked to reconfigure the shield's quantum matrix, while Elena prepared the most important message of her life, a broadcast to every neural interface on Earth. People of Earth, she began, her voice carrying to billions, you built this shield together. Your combined will, your desire for freedom and self-determination made it possible. Now we need you again. When the signal comes, focus your thoughts on a single idea, connection. Imagine breaking through barriers, reaching out to the stars. Your minds, united through the quantum field, can change the very fabric of reality. As the message went out, Ambassador Lyra's voice somehow broke through the hegemony's interference. We stand ready, Dr. Blackwood. The collective will amplify whatever breach you create. High Admiral Vorthak must have sensed what they were attempting. The hegemony fleet began charging their weapons, all of them. This ends now, his voice boomed. Submit or be destroyed. Ready, Dr. Patel called out. Shield quantum matrix reconfigured, power levels at maximum. Elena took a deep breath. Send the signal. Across the planet, billions of human minds focused as one. The shield began to pulse with impossible colors as it absorbed and channeled their combined quantum potential. Elena felt it, a vast consciousness, a singular purpose amplified through the quantum field. The shield didn't just push back against the hegemony's space-time barrier, it transformed it. Where their lattice tried to fold space, the shield unfolded it. Where they sought to isolate, it created connections. Through her neural interface, Elena saw it happening. The quantum field expanded exponentially, creating new patterns, new possibilities. The hegemony's carefully ordered universe was being rewritten by the chaotic, beautiful potential of billions of united minds. Energy readings off the scale, Lieutenant Winters shouted. The shield, it's not just protecting Earth anymore, it's growing. A new kind of space was forming around Earth, one that existed simultaneously in multiple quantum states, defying the hegemony's attempt to impose a single reality. Through this transformed space, their allies' ships began to return, no longer bound by conventional physics. Ambassador Lyra's voice rang with triumph. You've done it! The quantum barriers between civilizations, they're dissolving. The hegemony can no longer isolate anyone. But Alina knew they weren't finished. As she watched the hegemony fleet preparing their final assault, she realized that the real test was still to come. They had changed the rules of space itself. Now they had to prove they could exist in the new reality they had created. Dawn of a new era. The space around Earth had become something entirely new, a quantum manifold where multiple realities overlapped and intertwined. Dr. Alina Blackwood watched in awe as the combined consciousness of humanity continued to reshape the very fabric of space-time through the enhanced shield matrix. Hegemony fleet is moving, Commander Rhodes reported, his voice tense. They're taking up attack positions in multiple quantum states simultaneously. They're adapting, Alina said, studying the bizarre readings on her neural interface. The hegemony didn't become a galactic power by being inflexible, but they're not the only ones who can evolve. The quantum shield now extended far beyond Earth's atmosphere, its energy patterns weaving through space like a living tapestry. Through it, Alina could sense the presence of their allies, the Meridian Collective, Zorn-Tech's people, and Ixil's civilization, all adding their own unique resonances to the quantum field. High Admiral Vorthak's image appeared across multiple quantum frequencies at once, his crystalline features fractured across dimensions. You understand nothing of what you've done. The order we built maintained peace across 1,000,000 worlds. Without it, chaos will consume everything. No, Alina replied, her voice carrying through the quantum field with newfound clarity. What you built was stagnation masked as stability. Real growth requires freedom, the freedom to choose, to change, to make mistakes and learn from them. The hegemony fleet opened fire, not with conventional weapons, but with beams of pure probability, trying to collapse the quantum manifold back into their preferred reality. The attack struck the shield from 1,000 angles across multiple dimensions. But this time, something different happened. Instead of merely absorbing or deflecting the attack, the shield began to resonate with it, creating new patterns in the quantum field. Dr. Patel's eyes widened as he analyzed the data. Alina, look at these readings. The shield isn't just defending anymore, it's communicating. Through her neural link to the global consciousness, Alina understood. The quantum field they'd created wasn't just a barrier or a weapon. It was a new medium of existence, one that could bridge the gap between different ways of thinking, different ways of being. Ambassador Lyra's energy form pulsed with excitement. Yes, you've discovered what the hegemony forgot eons ago. True unity cannot be forced. It must emerge naturally from the interaction of diverse perspectives. The hegemony ships began to falter, their perfect formations breaking down as the crew members experienced something they hadn't felt in generations: genuine choice. The quantum manifold was affecting them too, breaking through centuries of conditioning and control. Their neural networks are destabilizing, Lieutenant Winters reported, her cybernetic eyes tracking multiple probability streams at once. The hegemony's collective consciousness, it's fragmenting into individual minds. High Admiral Vorthak's image flickered as his own consciousness began to separate from the hegemony's group mind. What? What is happening to us? You're remembering who you were, Alina explained gently. Before the hegemony, before forced unity, your people weren't always part of a collective consciousness. You were individuals, each with your own dreams and desires. The quantum manifold continued to expand, touching more and more worlds. Everywhere it reached, the rigid structures of hegemony control began to dissolve, replaced by new networks of voluntary cooperation and mutual understanding. Admiral Chen stepped forward, his expression a mixture of awe and concern. "Dr. Blackwood, are we ready for this? The responsibility we're taking on." "We're not taking on anything alone," Elena replied. "Look." The quantum field was alive with activity as thousands of civilizations began to connect in new ways. Not through forced unity or dominant hierarchies, but through a complex web of voluntary associations and shared understanding. The shield that had started as Earth's defense had become a catalyst for galactic transformation. Delegate Zorntek's particle cloud swirled with excitement. "This is beyond anything we imagined possible. A quantum democracy emerging spontaneously from the interaction of free minds." Representative Ixil's multichromatic skin rippled. "The hegemony sought to impose order from above. You have shown us how to let order emerge from below, from the free choices of countless individuals." High Admiral Vorthak's image had stabilized but changed. The artificial perfection was gone, replaced by something more natural, more real. I remember now, before the Unity protocols, before the forced collective consciousness. We were explorers once, seekers of knowledge." "You can be again," Elena said. "All of us together finding new ways to grow and learn from each other." The quantum manifold hummed with possibility as more and more minds joined the network. Not as a single consciousness, but as a vast tapestry of individual thoughts and dreams, each contributing to something greater than themselves. Dr. Patel laughed in disbelief as he studied the readings. "The shield's power consumption is actually decreasing. The quantum field is becoming self-sustaining, powered by the natural interaction of conscious minds across space and time." Because this is how it should be, Elena realized. Not a barrier to keep others out, but a medium to bring people together. Not a weapon to enforce peace, but a tool to help us understand each other. As the sun rose over Earth, its light filtered through the quantum manifold, creating impossible colors and patterns in the sky. It was a reminder that reality itself had changed, not through force or dominance, but through humanity's determination to find a better way. The hegemony fleet began to disperse, not in retreat but in transformation. Each ship, each crew member was beginning a new journey of self-discovery. Some would stay to learn from Earth and its allies. Others would travel to distant stars, spreading the news that the age of enforced unity was over. "So," Admiral Chen said with a slight smile, "what do we do now?" Elena looked out at the changed universe, feeling the quantum field pulse with countless possibilities. Now we explore, we learn, we grow, not as rulers or subjects, but as equals. The galaxy is waiting, and for the first time in a very long time, its future is truly unlimited."